Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Dave. Just want to kind of show you a little bit of my game room that I just recently kind of finished up. Mind the mess. No, it's the holidays right around the corner, so there's a bunch of junk in here that still need to kind of move around and whatnot. So just thought I'd give you kind of a really quick tour of kind of some of the games. Been asked a lot of what I have going on in the game room. It's just basically a two-car garage, just kind of converted, just insulated. Just went ahead and started buying a few arcade games here and there throughout the last couple years, and it's just kind of gotten bigger since then. So I just kind of start off over here with the sim racing seat that I got here from GTR Racing. I just have a PS4 plugged into it with a Logitech steering wheel. It actually did come with the steering wheel and pedals. Bought the shifter separately as well. And all I have here is a 32-inch extra ultra widescreen monitor, just a PC monitor that I have here. That's actually that shows a picture. Just using also some Logitech 5.1 system, just I got off of Amazon. Basically, just comes with 5 speakers. You got the 3 speakers up in the front, left, center, and right channels. Subwoofer on the bottom left. Then you got your rear channel here and another rear channel here. Still trying to figure out ways of how to kind of attach that to the actual seat themselves. That way I don't have these speaker stands kind of sitting here in the way of things. But ultimately it's just kind of a racing sim. I do have a flight stick actually attached to this PS4 as well, for flight simulators as well. I mean, there's only just kind of a handful of them for the PS4, but it actually works pretty good. More so the Ace Combat VR. There is a VR under that little kind of cover there, just because obviously since it's in the garage, still kind of get dusty here, so I still have that VR cover on there. But basically, there's, you can, it does have GTA VR, Gran Turismo in VR, and also the flight sticks that you can use Ace Combat for VR. So a lot of people enjoy the VR stuff of it. So I actually have that system there. That's actually one of the first ones I kind of put together as far as a sim racing seat too. So still a work in progress of how I want to kind of set it up, but in a sense you kind of get an idea of what's going on with that one. Next to that one, basically have a pedestal arcade system here that I actually built. It actually came from Rec Room Masters. I mean, obviously they've since kind of gone out of business, but I've heard they're actually starting to bring business back. I know they went out of business during COVID, and this is actually this one and the one next to it are both from Rec Room Masters. They're basically a full-size cabinet, extension arcade on this one, and this one I actually have a Xbox One running in this one here. So this one is just kind of used for basically fighting games. Got Killer Instinct 1, Killer Instinct 2, Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat. Just anything that kind of runs off the Xbox One. That's what I'm using this pedestal cabinet for. Obviously, it's very, very good quality as far as the work's concerned. It just came in parts, and you just kind of build it together. But real simple to actually put together. I wish Rec Room Masters. I know they mentioned that they're actually starting to come back into business, so hopefully they do that pretty soon. Very, very good. Quality, build it yourself arcades, prior to obviously Arcade 1-Up coming into play. So this is actually one of the first 2 full-size cabinets that kind of do it yourself or DIY cabinets I put together. So again, just kind of have that pedestal cabinet, just kind of a 43-inch TCL screen running on this one with a Vizio soundbar. Subwoofer is actually sitting down there in the kick plate there. Right behind there. That's actually where the Xbox is actually sitting there as well. This one here, this other Rec Room Masters extension arcade. This full-size one also came in multiple pieces that you basically put together. You can basically had a choice of having the joysticks work with basically arcade type JAMMA controls, or you can use you could have also had the option of using it for a PS4, PS3, Xbox, and so on. I actually went with the JAMMA connections. So I actually have a Pandora's box sitting in here with about 2,000 games in it. Basically, it's just a plug and play. Just buy the Pandora's box. All the arcade joysticks and buttons were already connected to that JAMMA harness, and it was just plug and play. Just plug in the JAMA connection or the harness into the Pandora's box, and you were up and running. Um, Obviously, it didn't come with speakers, so I just basically have a 2.1 computer speakers. So they're just kind of computer speakers sitting up here in these speaker grills that are sitting up at the top that I've mounted in there. Subwoofer is actually down here in the bottom kick plate as well. Very big amount of space in the arcade system in there. So definitely something worth looking at. Obviously, when we kind of look into that, this was one of the things that I wanted to actually kind of pursue in terms of an actual full-size cabinet. Without kind of going overboard. So kind of this was reasonably priced for the kit that you got. Obviously, again, since it's a DIY kit, it came in pieces. You just basically had to put it together. Bought the additional computer speakers, the Pandora's box, and then you were plug and play and up and running. So right next to this is actually one of the newer cabinets I got probably about 8-9 months ago. This arcade cabinet was fully customized to what I wanted. Obviously, you can tell big Philadelphia Eagles fan. So I obviously had them ask if I can go ahead and actually get that covered in kind of a Philadelphia Eagles vinyl. So they were able to work with me on getting that done. This actually is from a company called the Arcade Guys. Very, very good, reasonable company. Again, this is kind of built to your preference, built to your order. Basically, you have a couple of choices on what you want in terms of vinyls, how big you want it. Obviously, I opted for the 4-player cabinet with the light guns and the trackball, just because of the fact that it actually has about 18,000 games, ranging as far back as the original Atari, all the way up through current, I wouldn't say current systems, but kind of older systems such as Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo. And it also does have, arcade MAME games on here. So pretty good system. I love it. Use it quite often. Obviously, I use a lot of the light guns on here, a lot of the light gun games. So I think a lot of people, when they come over, they actually have fun on the light games. So that's why I kind of have that one sitting on Area 51, duo, as far as that arcade's concerned. Moving over here, actually these are kind of these are both Golden Tees. I actually opted out for 2 of them. Obviously this smaller one here, these are both obviously from Arcade1Up. This classic Golden Tee one was actually one of the first ones I kind of really bought that kind of got me into the arcade systems. Obviously during COVID hit, kind of had nowhere to go. All the places closed. So I said, why not? I'll go ahead and buy one of these small systems, put it up in the loft, and kind of play with it from here from time to time. And that's kind of how it started. Buying one, Arcade1Up turned into multiple arcades. But I just wanted to kind of reiterate that obviously Arcade1Up's pretty good company. Obviously there's preferences on what kind of games you want to buy that actually come within that cabinet. So obviously this is a quarter-size cabinet, if you can see here. Does come with 4 of the Golden Tee classic games on here. So it was a really good obviously arcade to go ahead and use, and we still play it to this day. If we move over to the right side of that, we actually have the kind of larger Arcade1Up version of Golden Tee. Comes with the exact same games that are listed on the left side of the Golden Tee here. The only difference is this one actually comes with a called Golden Tee 3D, and it also comes with, I believe, a bowling game on it as well as a shuffleboard game. So we do kind of get a fix on some of those shuffleboard and bowling games, so it's actually pretty good. But the fact that I bought it is just because obviously Golden Tee, every bar kind of Barcade obviously has kind of a Golden Tee system or arcade type of system in that establishment. So I obviously wanted to go ahead and actually go and kind of get that second larger one. So we actually get a lot of use out of the larger one as opposed to the smaller one, but they've actually had quite a good run in terms of what we use them for. So obviously these are the 2 kind of more popular ones that I have kind of when people come over and play those systems. Obviously kind of want to, without a barcade, what's not having a refrigerator, kegerator, and a few liquor bottles. So just kind of set up those systems here, or set up those, things that I wanted to kind of set up in here as well. Moving over here, actually went ahead and got this dartboard. Multiple things going on this one. There's actually kind of built it from, you know, basically different parts or different items. So the dartboard is actually called the Grand Dartboard. It's actually a full digital dartboard. It basically connects to a tablet, and that's how it keeps score, and you choose the actual games that you want to play on them. The good thing about this is because it is Android or Apple compatible, you can actually, and right now I actually have it running off of Android or Google Chromecast. So I kind of have a small tablet sitting there. And basically I just kind of cast it to the little 23-inch monitor or 22-inch monitor I have that I actually installed right at the top of this. So a couple things going on here. I have the Grand Board monitor, or sorry, the Grand Board dartboard that I purchased. Amazon just kind of got a little laser kind of distance meter. Basically, you can kind of adjust it to where you need to stand to kind of throw the darts. The entire cabinet actually is kind of a cabinet setup that you can actually buy. I bought this actually off of Amazon, and basically comes with the you build the cabinet like such. It did come with a different dartboard, so obviously I didn't use that dartboard. I wanted to kind of go to the full digital one. And basically how I kind of went and installed this 22-inch monitor is I just kind of had a little 22-inch TV sitting around, and basically kind of drilled a hole to put a PC mount, PC monitor mount right underneath it. So just kind of drilled a hole, secured it up there, and it actually fit perfectly. Obviously, it can go maybe with a little bit of a bigger monitor, but I think 21 to 22 inches at whatever this size monitor is fits pretty good. When you're kind of at a distance, you can definitely see the scores on it. So I actually like this. This actually does get quite a good amount of play out of it. Every time I have people come over, they're always liking to play this dartboard here. Moving over to that one, I actually have another one of the first arcade cabinets I bought back in the day from Arcade1Up. This was kind of one of the original, obviously didn't have the light up marquees, so this is one of the original Mortal Kombat Arcade1Ups. This did come with Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And you can obviously see here at the bottom, the riser that comes with it was obviously one of the ones that I actually had to buy separately. It didn't come with, you know, the riser on it. So obviously, you know, back then, when you bought the Arcade1Up, you had to buy the riser separately for it, and it didn't kind of really match the arcade that you bought. It just kind of states Arcade1Up. Kind of share it. So it just kind of says Arcade1Up. So basically, that's kind of what I went with. Is at the time was just kind of, you know, bought the riser, set it up, and good to go. So this one's kind of been an ongoing system. Everybody kind of likes to play the Mortal Kombats back in the day, so this one does get quite a bit of play out of it as well. These are the two newest arcade cabinets that I recently purchased. I have the At Legends Ultimate Arcade system here. This one I actually got and picked up from Sam's Club. So this is actually a really good buy at the time. It comes with quite a bit of games. I believe, you know, fully installed, it comes with it is about 200 plus games or 300 plus games. Don't quote me on that, but you can kind of look at their website through Sam's, and it'll kind of tell you how many it comes with. But if you kind of visit at Games Legends as well, very good company. You know, this kind of gives you the ability to actually install not just, you know, the games that comes on it, but, you know, obviously you can kind of see here, there's a jump stick or a jump drive in there that actually is running, that actually has additional games on it. So I have maybe about another 14,000 games on there that I can play on, ranging from, you know, again, Atari all the way through Nintendo 64. So pretty good system. Quality is really good. I like the fact that it actually came with the 6-button 2-player, comes with the trackball and these rotary knobs also. Some games actually utilize those basically utilize those functions as well. But it's a pretty good system. I actually like it. I enjoy it. I actually play this one quite a bit as well. And then a lot of this one here is actually one of the ones that you know, anytime I have a kind of get together, this one does get a lot of play as well. The At Games Legends pinball system. This one had quite a bit of, it already came with about 20 pre-installed pinball games on it. But you can obviously buy packs through At Games Legends, their website. Download them onto the actual, you know, Legends pinball system, and then just kind of play them from there. So So I think it's a really good buy. I actually got it when it was on sale as well, also from Sam's Club, but you can kind of purchase these directly from the website as well. So really good two systems. These are kind of my newest ones. So these two actually get quite a bit of play out of it. So I do actually like the pinball. You know, I have kind of really leery. I was a little leery about getting a pinball system that was kind of digital, but it ain't too bad. It actually is pretty accurate. The way it kind of the ball kind of you know moves, it moves like a kind of your old school pinballs. You know, it kind of has that same type of feel to it. So I think it's pretty good, especially for the price. So you know, obviously you can get it on sale a lot of times, but you know, right now I know it's on sale around the holidays. So at the moment, when I first bought it, it was also on sale, but really good cabinet. Wasn't too fond of the artwork too much, but you know, hey, you know, you can obviously kind of mod that or change that if you ever wanted to later on. But I thought it was a pretty good buy on that one. Moving over to this one, kind of older system. You can tell it's kind of running, just kind of running a PS2 or PlayStation 2 on it. And I have Dance Dance Revolution. Back in the day, when PS2 was obviously kind of utilized for a lot of the DDR games back in the day. I was kind of a really big DDR fan back then. Used it to obviously kept a lot of weight off. So it was actually a pretty good system. You can actually have fun with it, you know, while obviously being active. So, you know, I said, hey, well, you know what? I want to still kind of utilize that. So I went ahead and just kind of had an old 50-inch plasma TV sitting or lying around. And with that, basically just bought a stand on it. Again, mind the wires is still trying to wire manage and make some changes around this area as to how I want to set it up. You know, reason for that is because I actually just, you know, set up a lot of the older systems like the Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, PlayStation 1. So obviously this is kind of new. I just bought the stand, set it up in here. So obviously wire management is a little bit bad right now, but be working on that to try to modify it and kind of hide those a little bit. But getting back to this system, obviously I still want to go ahead and actually work with kind of enclosing this little area as well to have kind of that subwoofer right behind kind of an enclosure. That way nobody kind of sees the PlayStation, the soundbar controller, and the subwoofer there, and just kind of hide this area as well. So still a work in progress. I want to figure this out. But basically, again, you know, just have a little old Panasonic soundbar sitting at the top of it that I had laying around, 50-inch plasma. And I actually bought back in the day a, you know, I think this is a company called Energy, full metal. Obviously the entire frame is metal. Some of the buttons are metal, but the arrows are kind of an acrylic or kind of a heavy acrylic. So very sensitive. So it's actually works very good back the way the arcade used to work back in the day. So I'm actually very happy with this one here. Fortunately, they don't sell these too much. I mean, you can probably still maybe get them off of eBay from time to time. Maybe somebody would sell them, or maybe somebody sell them for parts. So I've been kind of looking around, maybe kind of add a second one to this one. But for now, I think the first, having just one, does get quite a bit of use out of it. You know, I do play this one quite often, and whenever I do have kind of friends back in the day that used to play this system, they use and play that with no problem. So don't know what the weight limit is on it, but I mean, I've had, you know, myself, I mean, I'm not too heavy, maybe around 200 pounds, and then a couple of individuals that were a little bit heavy set. So they've had good use out of it, whether it's small individual, large individual, have not had any issues with, you know, any bending or not working correctly with it being stepped on too hard. So it's actually got quite a bit of use out of it from different individuals. So don't know about the weight limit, but I know it has held up as far as the weight is concerned. So again, very good buy that I purchased it. So I like kind of utilizing this system. And again, as right now I have it running Dance Dance Revolution or DDR Max 2. I do have DDR Max 1 and a couple of the other old school PS2 DDR. So I think maybe about 5 or 6 DDRs that came out back in the day for the PS2. So that's what I kind of have running on this one here. So very good use out of it, and I enjoy it. And then just kind of lastly, as far as arcades, it's kind of folded up right now. But again, like I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, a lot of holidays coming up. So there's a lot of mess over here in terms of that. So I just kind of have a this folded up, but essentially it's just kind of a two-player basketball, little mini basketball hoop game that you can kind of play on. So maybe later on I'll kind of, as I start cleaning up the garage and modifying it, kind of get that and kind of get another video and kind of show what that looks like. But again, those are pretty much the, all my arcade system. I did kind of want to turn it into kind of like a barcade. So here I have, 120-inch projector screen that I have sitting up here against the garage. And then I just kind of mounted a 1080p widescreen projector up here. Again, when we have kind of game nights or sporting events or pay-per-views, usually everybody wants to come over here just because of the size of the screen. But it doesn't end there. So obviously, with that screen behind or in the back of the garage, I actually have two mounted 43-inch screens as well that kind of mirror the picture. I actually have it set up multiple ways. I actually have it mirrored, or I can have each and every individual TV and projector actually have its own source. So there are times that I'll have one baseball game or basketball game playing on this screen, and then I'll have another baseball or basketball set up on this one, and then the main event will kind of be on this larger projector screen. So again, pretty good. Everybody kind of comes in here, kind of drinks around, sits around, plays some games while we kind of have some sporting events. So and essentially, again, still a work in progress. Still got to kind of do touch-ups on the paint. Obviously you can kind of see in there on the video, kind of see some marks or scuffs on the wall. So obviously still got to kind of work on modifying some of the fixing that up. Flooring obviously is still the concrete, but the plan is to kind of come in here, haven't decided whether I want to kind of go with an epoxy or maybe kind of a vinyl type of peel and stick, just because obviously I can still go ahead and open the garage and kind of fit a car in here if I kind of wanted to or really wanted to, just kind of have a small sports car. So, whatever works best as far as kind of being able to, move the car in and out. I heard probably the epoxy would be best instead of the pick and stick or peel and stick tile, just because it could possibly move, kind of bringing in heavy objects like that. But still kind of deciding what I want to go with as far as the flooring is concerned. So, I guess I'll figure that out a little bit later. But I just want to kind of let everybody kind of see. Everybody was asking, what kind of arcade system or arcades I had in my game room. So essentially that's kind of what I have going on. Again, appreciate kind of everybody, spending a few minutes kind of going through and labeling these arcades or kind of showing these arcades. Again, I like this. Kind of really wasn't a hobby. I've always wanted my own arcade room back in the day, but never could be able to afford it. So now that, obviously with COVID hit and things changing, kind of all started with just, two arcade one-ups, a Golden Tee arcade and a Mortal Kombat arcade. Essentially, those two arcades turned into the rest of these systems here. And then running out of room in the loft, moved it down into the garage, converted the garage, and started buying larger arcades. So again, I know it's kind of, sometimes it's an expensive hobby, and sometimes people just, back when they grew up, they always wanted arcade systems in their home. So that was actually one of the ones that I've always told myself that if I ever had a chance, I wanted to go ahead and have kind of an arcade room or kind of a barcade going on. So again, that's kind of where I stand at the moment in terms of what I wanted to pursue. And I enjoy it. I like it. Every time I have events or people coming over, this room is always packed with people playing all these different arcade games. So it does get quite a bit of use out of it, and I can say that the amount of money I spend on everything in here, it's pretty much been paid off in terms of the amount of people coming in and playing these systems. So appreciate you guys kind of stopping by and checking out the systems. Again, if you have any questions, just feel free to comment, and I'll be more than welcome to go ahead and answer any questions. I'll leave some links and some tags on here in terms of where I purchased or got these arcades, and also leave some links to some of the individuals that kind of helped me make some of these decisions in terms of YouTubers that are out there that have been in this hobby longer than I have. So Appreciate everybody looking around or kind of sticking around, looking at all these arcades, and appreciate y'all's time. Y'all have a good one.